Alright, 64, you may be asking yourself why I brought you here.
Yeah, because you never actually really get me out of the case.
Yeah, because it's mainly because I actually got a new Ultraman figure and I need someone for him to fight in my pictures.
You know, I don't actually fight Ultraman, right?
Yeah, but there's actually this Godzilla that has these fins around his head that he fights. I don't actually know the monster's name, but I figured it would work great for you.
So this is why you got me out for? All that time I spent inside that case? And you take me out to play dress up? And I'm not even the right Godzilla for that. He's closer to the one you need.
Yeah, but this won't actually fit around his head.
It won't fit around mine either.
But yeah, but with you, I can actually pop out one of your neck joints and then just, use some good old sticky tack.
I really do hate you sometimes.
Hey guys, welcome to Super Important Views. My name is Steve, and in this video I'll be going over the Ultra-Act Ultraman Renewal version from Bandai and Tamashii Nation. This is a reissue of the Renewal version, which I got this guy for $27 from Big Bad Toy Store, which, yes, he's only $27, which seems like a steal. And I mainly picked up this guy because I actually been wanting a really nice representation of the original Ultraman in my collection, because this is the Ultraman that I grew up with as a kid. And I sadly don't really own any good Ultraman figures. Like, I'll show you the two that I have later on, the comparisons, but I've been wanting to get a really nice version of this guy for a while now, and once I seen that this version of the Ultraman was getting re-released, decided to jump on this figure, and I actually can't wait to get this guy out of his prison. So without further ado, for the packaging, looks really nice. Really love all the colors going on here. Very reminiscent of the Ultraman inside of the packaging with this nice silver with a little bit of dark grays and the red. Nice profile shot of the Ultraman in the packaging. Ultra-Act with the Tamashii Nation Bandai logo at the bottom. You also have the logo over here as well. Same profile shot of Ultraman on the side here. Top of the packaging, literally nothing going on except Ultraman. On the side, exact same thing going on. And then for the back of the packaging, you get some nice poses of the figure inside of it with him in a running pose, grappling, his Ultra Slash, and the Speculum Ray. With some stuff I can't understand and legal mumbo jumbo. So let's get this guy opened up out of his cardboard prison. Alright, so now that we have Ultraman opened up out of his cardboard prison, first we're going to go over quite a few of his accessories, starting with his hands, which he comes with a pair of fist hands, a pair of open relaxed hands, a pair of grappling hands, a pair of karate chop hands, and a right hand for victory. And next we move on to his Speculum Ray, which overall looks pretty nice. Like the translucent blue plastic that they use for the beam effect. Maybe we'd like to see a little bit more white in here just to kind of give it that old-timey kind of grain look to it. But overall, actually looks really nice. Pretty happy with the textures that are going on inside of it. Very reminiscent of the TV show. Like that you can get him into the cross position that he needs to be able to perform the attack move. And also he has this other accessory that he comes with that's pretty neat with him, which is the shockwave effect pieces, which are actually pretty sweet. They're not very large, but it's pretty cool that they actually give his Speculum Ray a little bit of gravity with the shockwave blast going towards the back of his feet. And overall with the textures of these, has this nice ember color, a little bit of black flake in there, kind of representing the ground kind of splashing up because of the energy blast that this is causing. And then it tapers off to this more kind of light yellow color towards the front, which overall these look really nice. Also, what's kind of cool is I have another shockwave effect piece, which is definitely a lot larger in scale. But this one you have to buy separately and by itself, which is kind of cool that now I have like a little smaller little matching pair. And these can also be used for other characters like Dragon Ball Z characters or other Ultraman, like pretty much anybody with normal shaped feet. They just pretty much just sit on the ground, sit them on the back, and they give the moves that they're doing a little bit more gravity. And then next we have the Ultra Slash, which actually is more of a throwing move, but it's cool to be doing it with a chopping motion. It's actually made out of this translucent, very light blue plastic with a little bit more dark blue coming up towards the top, which is actually something I would have liked to have seen the Speculum Ray actually have the same kind of color scheme. But it's cool to have a little bit of variety between the two effect pieces. But overall, I like the positioning, the way the waves are kind of bending into this buzzsaw position. Looks really cool. Very happy with this accessory. It's actually the one I don't remember quite as well from the TV show, just because I don't... It's been a really long time since I actually watched the original Ultraman. I actually have the TV show, and I started watching it a little while ago just because I knew this guy was going to be shipping, so I wanted to have a little bit more reference for some of these positions that he's going to be doing. But it is cool to see that this toy actually comes with this little effect. And then real quick, just to show you guys how to swap out the hand effect pieces for each of the hands. And also just if you want to put any of the other hands on. It's really simple. All you got to do is just grab really close to the ball joint here. You just pull them apart. You hear a little popping sound. No, you have it off. Then you just take whichever hand piece or effect piece that you want to put on. And just make sure that the peg is facing upward as straight as you can, so that when you're coming at it, you're not going to be applying any stress to the peg that's right here, because these are prone to snap if you go a little bit too wide and put too much pressure on it. So just be very careful when you're attaching the hand pieces. If something doesn't feel right, just adjust it accordingly. Or just make sure to use a hairdryer. Works really well. Then you just apply a little bit of pressure, straight on, and pop the hand back on. Really easy, simple stuff. And then finally, we're going to go over his color times. It comes with two of them, which he comes with this blue one, which represents him being full power, which actually looks very nice. Really like the blue that they have in there. Kind of gives it this nice gem quality. And there's a little bit of silver going around the edges to help match up with the rest of his body. And then how you get this off, which is a bit of a pain in the butt. The best way I figured it out is this: you're going to want to get your nail in, and you're just going to apply a little bit of pressure to each side, and it's literally just try pulling it out until it gets it to work. The more times you pull it out, it definitely becomes a lot easier, but it's just still a little bit of a pain to get this thing actually out of there. Come on. Feel you loosening. There we go. So, got the blue one out, and then grabbing the red one. Then you just take your red one. Don't notice any noticeable grooves, so it's pretty much, you don't really have to line up anything. You just gotta not drop it, and then just put it right in the hole. Apply a little pressure to push it right in. And now you have the red color timer, which is him in his weakened form when he's running out of time in Ultraman form, which looks really good as well. Like the red gem that they have going on here, which is just clear red plastic, but it looks really good on these guys. Overall, pretty happy with all of his accessories, even the ones that I don't actually quite remember from as a kid. But it's cool that he comes with all the accessories, especially with him being a renewal, where I could totally understand them just not really giving us much other than the Ultraman here. So really do appreciate that. And then moving on to his details, head sculpt looks awesome. Really like the white plastic that they have here, which kind of gives off this nice gem quality that he has from the original TV show. Also, you see the eye hole slits on the bottom of the eyes here, so that the actor could actually see outside of the suit, which is really sweet. Like the way the mouthpiece is sculpted, has a little bit of fuzz on there. Earpieces look very nice. For the back panel, looks good as well with this really nice red shade to it. And then for the rest of his body, he looks freaking ripped. Like he's got a 2-pack there? I guess it'd be a 6-pack if he didn't have the vinyl over top of it. It's got his pecs, it's got some biceps, a little bit of a leg bulge here. Like he actually is a pretty intimidating looking Ultraman, especially since the original Ultraman was just kind of like loose floppy vinyl over top of a guy, and you just don't really notice any of the muscle textures other than it's just in a humanoid shape. It's really cool to actually see him in this more muscular form. Really actually do love this a lot. It's a little bit more reminiscent of his appearances in a lot more of the newer Ultraman TV shows, but looks really good overall. And next I want to go over something I don't actually own, which is the Brothers Mantle, which is like the Ultraman cape that a lot of the Ultramen have. And one thing that you'll notice back here is that there's a spot here where you can pull out a piece of his back here. But you'll notice there's a little clip on the inside of here, which is actually where the cape hooks into, which I wish I could show you guys the cape, but I don't actually own the Brothers Mantle, so it's a little bit of a bummer, but that's what that is officially there for. And you'll notice right here that there is one down towards the lower back here, which is actually for a Tamashii Nation stand, which show you that little piece that he comes with. Comes with this extra little peg piece, which once you pull out the original, you just stick this right back in there, line it up. Pretty easy to get back in there. I notice mine doesn't really stay in there all that well though, especially when you want to actually put them into flying poses. So with mine, I have to actually use the clamp for the majority of them. But how you would do this is you take your Tamashii Nation stand, literally just peg it right into the peg hole back here. And then what this does is actually get Ultraman into very easily standable positions where you don't actually have to worry about him falling out. So again, it doesn't really stand there that securely for mine. Which doesn't really bother me all that much because I'm not going to really be putting it with the stand anyways. But mainly what this is for is to God, is to actually get him into flying positions where you actually could have him be flying off like Superman, but I can't really show it off that well. I'll be right back and see if I can get him into these more technical poses. All right, so as long as we don't really breathe on it, as you can see, we have our Ultraman flying with the Tamashii Nation stand. It's just a very scary thing for my Ultraman. Like, my Ultraman Tiga actually stays on there very well, but this one's just a little bit more terrifying because just a little bit of touch pops right off. Which, it's a cool accessory. Like, I still really like it, especially just to be able to keep him in more upright positions. But in terms of flying, I think I'm just going to go with the normal V-clamp that this stand already comes with. And then just to show off the rest of the details on our Ultraman, you'll notice that he actually has a lot of segmenting, mainly because it's just stupid articulated figure. It's bound to happen. But the main problem is right here at the legs, because with all the movement that he really has here, you just start noticing a lot of gapping when you get him to move. But a lot of that can be solved just by positioning him after you get him into the poses. Like if you want to get him into a kick, just got to kind of shove the legs on a little bit, then it doesn't look so bad. But once you start moving out, it's just like, oh, jeebies, man. And then same with the back here too, you'll notice that there's a little bit more segment. That's just because a lot of the pegs, but it all looks very nice and blends in pretty well overall, so it's not anything too major. And then you got your Ultraman Butte. And then for his legs, look really nice as well. Overall with the paint job, really like the metallic silver. And then he has this more flat red for the rest of this, which is very reminiscent of Ultraman. Looks really good. Don't really notice really too many problems with the plastic. Like you'll notice that there's like a little bit of a slit right there. Same with the arms. Then right here for the leg, you'll notice where the plastic kind of bends in and just a little bit unsightly, but nothing too major. So overall in terms of detail, looks awesome. Really love the paint job. Details are very accurate for Ultraman, even though it's not quite the original TV show, but I still love this super stylized look. And then moving on to his articulation, head can look up about that far, down about that far, can look to the left, right. Don't really get a whole lot of movement there, except maybe if you move the neck a bit, but the head sculpt really gets in the way, especially with his Adam's apple right here. It just kind of makes it for very hindering motions for the head here. But it's still pretty good movement. Then for his shoulders, move up about that far, down about that far. They also can swivel back and forth, can move up and down, has a nice rotation up there. Has a double joint here at the elbow. Also has a rotation here at the hand. Can also bend it up and down. And then the hand can also rotate as well, but it's a little bit more of a pain to get that going, especially since I pop that bad boy off. Then for his abdomen, has a nice crunch, can rotate a little bit to the sides, nothing too crazy. It's a little bit of a pivot. For the lower section, can also rotate, has a nice crunch there. Also, actually has a very nice wiggle to him. And then for his legs, he can almost do the splits. If you do rotate it a bit, you can get it to move upwards, but I don't know why you'd want to. But it can move out about that far, inwards about that far. His legs can shift up and down. Also has a rotation here at the upper part of the leg, which can go all the way around. Has a double joint here at the knee. Really nice bend to it. Foot also has a bend to it. Can move a little bit forward and back. Nothing that I'm noticing side to side unless you rotate the joint and then rotate the foot, because you can rotate both these sections, but it's pain in the butt. But that's where you're pretty much getting the bend from. You just gotta turn it sideways if you really want it to pivot. And then he also has a bend here at the toes. And here we have our Ultra-Act Ultraman compared next to the 1996 Gamera from SH Monstars and the SH Monstars 1964 Godzilla, which I know isn't the right Godzilla for this, but this is still happening. And here we have him next to some other Ultra-Act figures with the Ultra-Act Ultraman Tiga and Gridman, or you may know as Servos from Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. And here's some Robot Domination figures with the Master Gundam and the God/Burning Gundam from G Gundam. And finally we have the Ultra-Act Ultraman next to some of my more obscure Ultraman action figures, which I don't actually know where this is from, but this one, I wish I could actually find more of these figures, and I've had this thing forever, as you could see from him being banged up and him murdering Ultraman over here. But he's actually a DreamWorks action figure from the TV show Ultraman Towards the Future, or Ultraman Great, if you guys have ever heard of that. It's just the only toy I've actually seen from that movie, and I remember getting this thing at a KB when we used to have those things around here. So overall, with the re-release of the Ultraman Ultra-Act Renewal version, personally, I love this action figure. I think his details and articulation are amazing. Really love all the accessories he comes with, which is actually a lot of accessories, especially for something that's a re-release. And with his low price tag of $27 is what I picked him up for, and that's before shipping. It only puts him about $7 more than most NECA action figures or even a lot of our other stateside figures. And for this guy being a Japanese figure, just really makes him a steal. And if you guys are really into Ultraman figures and import action figures, then this guy is definitely for you. So what do you guys think? Have you guys picked up this Ultraman figure? Have you guys seen the original Ultraman TV show, or is DreamWorks just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. We'll have some closer pictures of him on Facebook. If you want to click the link in the description below. Let's stop those kaijus by hitting that like button. Subscribe to become a Ranger today, and thank you guys for watching.